HarperCollins and HarperAudio present The Unwanted, a novel by Boris Fishman, performed by Yusuf Kamal. For Agnes and Montgomery, may you know all this only from stories. 1. Escape. On the day Dina heard the news, she had returned from school to find her father, George, playing the truant once again. He was at the kitchen table in slippers, instead of at the university where he belonged. It had been happening all week. But Dina's family was not on holiday. No one explained anything to Dina, who stood at the kitchen threshold, apparently invisible. George was staring at the old refrigerator and soothing his mustache with a knuckle. The mustache, which hung out past George's nose, was nearly its own person. "George's mustache comes into the room, and then we wait for George to come, too," the neighbor, Mr. Huck, had said once to Dina's mother, Susanna, while Dina milled at her side. Susanna tried to satisfy Huck with a smile, but Dina could tell her mother was doing it only because they were minority-sect, and Huck was dominant-sect, and Susanna had told Dina that they should try to make dominant-sect people extra happy for a little while. Susanna sat next to her truant husband in the kitchen. She was staring out the window, her palms flat on the kitchen table, as if she feared letting go. Motorbikes whined outside. Dina dropped her satchel to the floor, intending to make noise. No one noticed. "Eat shit," Dina said. "Who died?" Susanna looked over. "Died?" she repeated, briefly persuaded. "Also, you say eat shit, do you?" "No one died," Dina said, disappointed. Dina did not want anyone to die, especially now when people died all the time, but she liked emergencies. "No one died," Susanna said, looking at George as if to confirm. Now George was looking at the window. Usually this kind of mental absence meant that he was elaborating a lesson for class or his retort to a colleague with whom delicacy was required because of the sect issue. As of 3 days before, as of the morning George did not switch out his slippers, George was done with such enviably minor problems. But as the proverb said, the man about to be hanged still washes his face. Susanna felt a familiar irritation. Again, it would be her duty to explain difficult things to their daughter. It was Susanna who had to explain why people were fighting, why Dina's school was moving to an underground shelter, why they wouldn't be going to the seaside for a little while. Until when, Dina wanted to know. A little while, Susanna said, which was a compromise between nothing will ever be the same and everything is fine. This a little while became Dina's measure of time. She wanted to know if she could play in the yard a little while. No. Whether her friend Harry would return to school in a little while. Of course, though this was a lie because Harry was dead. Whether dinner would be ready in a little while. Susanna was relieved to offer an unhesitant yes, to have something whose duration she could control. "We have some little news for you, my heart," Susanna now said to Dina. So maybe it was an emergency after all. Dina slid onto her stool and rested her hands in the folded position required at school, which meant she was listening closely. She wanted everything to be in order as she received the news. She wasn't even shifting around in her uniform, which, by virtue of Susanna's constant starching, was a great enemy. "I'm ready," she announced. Susanna extended her hands. Dina placed her palms inside her mother's. "Who combed out your hair so nice for you?" Susanna said. "There is a new teacher," Dina said. "She's young, she's nice, she says my hair is like a wood." "What's her name?" Susanna said. "I don't remember." "Your hair is like a wood, like the strings of father's oud," George said, coming alive. "Is she minority or dominant?"
Sample complete. Ready to continue?